Hello everybody, this is my theory on the Backrooms movie, so let's begin. So, in this trailer we're introduced to 4 total characters, 2 women and 2 men. So, one man is the cameraman for like the Backrooms, one dude is a camera guy, the second dude is the guy who discovers the Backrooms and works at the place that the Backrooms was discovered in. The first woman is I'm pretty sure, maybe, we don't know, but my guess is it's a sibling of the cameraman. And the third woman, or the second woman, is the manager and the owner of the store. So, anyways, and that's how all the characters we got in the trailer. And anyways, so my theory is at 1 minute and 40 seconds into the trailer, the guy who discovers the Backrooms goes into the Backrooms. So, he walks into this area and there's a camera in the Backrooms. And basically, he looks at the camera and then it cuts to him being on a video camera. And we don't know this area and it doesn't look like anything that would be in the shop. So my theory is that originally the lab was built so that there was a lab and they found the Backrooms and they were experimenting on the Backrooms and experimenting on entities and stuff, and they were just trying to find the secrets of the Backrooms. However, one day all the employees died because the monster in the Backrooms, what we're dealing with, went rogue and tried to kill them all. And basically what happened was the monster killed them all. And since they didn't want anybody finding out about the Backrooms or the deaths, they covered it up with a store. And the store was the store that, the man who discovers the Backrooms works at. And it's a furniture store. So they work together, they build it, and they cover it up. And nobody finds out about it until the year 1990 when the story takes place. So basically, my theory is the Backrooms was shut off from reality. However, a few years later, the Backrooms found its way back into reality, and it started and now he found out that it's finding a way back into reality, and he just finds out about it. He doesn't know anything about it since it was never on the news or anything, and he just opens it up, and then that's when it gets discovered. And at the end of the trailer, the manager girl, she discovers the Backrooms, and she gets really scared. And then after that, it cuts to her running in a hallway. And it's a very thin hallway, and she's covered in blood. However, before this, there's a bit with a cameraman. Like a few bits before this, there's a bit with a cameraman, and he hears screaming, and he's running by. So we know this is the cameraman. However, it's not, I don't think, because before this there's another clip of the cameraman running, and he has his camera, and because before that he got pulled down, or he got brought down with a rope by the other members of the group, and he was like, pull me up. However, it cuts there. So my story is to believe that the cameraman dies, and the other guy, the guy that discovers the Backrooms, goes and gets a camera, and he is now the recorder. And however, he hears screaming, since there's this clip where the girl is screaming. And my theory is the girl enters the Backrooms, gets found by the monster, and she gets stabbed by the monster. And however, the cameraman, which is the guy who discovers the Backrooms, well, the new cameraman, he goes and tries to save her. However, the cameraman, the guy who discovers the Backroom, dies maybe by the monster. And while the monster's killing the guy who discovered the Backrooms, the girl runs off, and just as she's running off, she's running and she finds this exit, and we don't know what happens to the other girl, the sibling. Well, my theory is the sibling of the Backrooms, and my theory is that she gets caught, she gets lost in the Backrooms. So my theory is that it's going to end with the two main characters dying. The sibling of the old cameraman, dies, or gets lost, or gets stuck in the Backrooms, and the manager escapes the Backrooms. However, she doesn't know how to tell anybody, and she's traumatized for life. So that's my theory. Bye-bye.